Hello and welcome to Today the News on Vanguard Life. My name is Damlola Ogushaki and we'll begin with the front pages of the daily, starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with insecurity. I have to create state police. That's according to President Bola Ahmed TINUBU. The clear state of emergency in not to save us. That's coming from NEF. Declaration aside Afenifere, ACF, MPF, others. Nothing has changed in Yoata since Tinubu's Benue visit, says Steve Leader. Nations must link security with good governance to check terrorism, says Defense Minister. Wants operationalization of ECOWAS standby force to be pursued with renewed vigor. You can see that story inside the Vanguard newspaper. And the photo story with the writer says United Kingdom Prime Minister's trade envoy visits. On page 9, NLC to federal government emulate states that pay above 70,000 naira minimum wage. Sirika blames Air Peace United Asman for failure of Nigerian Air. United States cites security concerns for visa revocation. You can see that on page 8 and on the sport, page 55. 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match. Fans to pay 3,000 naira and 1,000 naira to see Eagles. Price hike, no subsidy on CNG, says federal government. Alleged terrorism, DSS docks 9 over killings in Benue and Plateau. Federal government not using anti-corruption agencies to reach out opposition. That's according to Minister Anna. Lastly, on Vanguard newspaper, Ida Malud, federal government declares tomorrow public holiday. You can see that story on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. Away from that, we move to the Guardian. The Guardian major headline says insecurity, federal government reopens debate on state police as Tinubu declares readiness. At page 6 has that story. On news page 5, ADC faults Tinubu's charity plan for National Library. Digital leaders face 100 million naira fine for consumer abuse and data privacy violations. Zulum leads North East governors to Tinubu, sees completion of 17 roads or exploration. Top right corner, we have DSS arraigns 9 suspects over Benue and Plateau killings. Lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, non-oil growth accounts for 20 trillion naira income, says presidency. You can see that on news page 7. And let's move to the Nation newspaper. The Nation leading story says Tinubu's victory in 2027 sure. You can see that on page 3. And on page 2, 20.59 trillion naira federal government 8 month revenue strongest in history. The path to end the incessant ASU strike. 29 killed in Niger boat accident. And top right corner, we have why additional loan payment is delayed by Nelfon. Dangote Group disown truck involved in Enugu accident. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, online voter registration is 2.5 million in 4. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, online voter registration is 13 days. Now let's here we have APC opposition clash over federal government revenue growth claim. Present counterpart, president tells critics. Revenue, nothing without results. That's according to opposition. Economists query Tinubu's no more borrowing assertion amid 13 trillion naira deficit. You can see that on page 2. On pages 4 and 5, 3 killed in Lagos Masquerade Festival clash. Terrorists recruited 1,364 West African children. Shot 14,000 schools. That's according to United Nations, UN. Page 7 has that story. And above the banner on page 7, my reforms have restored Nigeria's global respect. That's according to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, security concerns behind the visa cancellation for Nigerians. Others, that's coming from United States. You can see that on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Life. My name is Dambola Ogunshaki. Joining me to analyze some of the stories on the front pages this morning is Mr. Oludari Mayowa, publisher, Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, Damilola. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, you're welcome. Now let's talk about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the state police. Now the president, he has said that he has to create state police amid the surging insecurity. Now, what does this signal about federal intent? And do you think this administration is preparing for constitutional reform, or is it just merely testing the public sentiment?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been advocate of state police while he was governor of Lagos State. Many of us, many people expect that by the time he became Nigerian president, he will have probably accelerated effort to introduce state police. But yes, it's not late. It's coming at the right time because of security across the state. Although many people have arguments for and against state police, but basically, as it is today, most states have state police. We don't call it police. Amotekun is a state police, funded by police by the states and serving doing the work of security, doing the work of police. What we need to build in this country is a system that works, that controls excesses. We neglect to do what is right. State police, because for example, this present structure of police, the governors have no control over this police. They have to report, they have to talk to the IGI, they have to talk to the president, and president have to approve it before they can deploy it to state. So even the state don't have control over it. But I think because they are closer to the police, we operate in the state police, and know people who know their community well, who know the criminals, who know the local trainings, who can easily investigation and unravel crime in those local levels. For example, Amotekun has done great work in that area to reduce crime, kidnapping, banditry in the state, especially during the lifetime of former governor, late Rotimi Akeredolu. So for me, it's the right step, it's the right decision. I think what the government, the president will do to accelerate the process, ensure that the concern is well amended to accommodate such, and its strict guidelines is written to ensure that we follow the process.
Okay, like you said, there are concerns about political misuse when it comes to the state police, but this police, it has a widespread support from northern governors to entities like Afenifere. So, what safeguards do you think are essential to ensure that state police remain, impartial and not a tool for subnational, power consolidation?
In the present state, for example, the federal control the police, and the federal government not using the police against governors, against the opposition. No, you can't rule this thing away. What I'm saying is that we need to have a system that works, and it's not rocket science. If there are experience you can gain, there are lessons you can gain from the United States of America, the UK, Canada, and the rest, where this system works. In the US, for example, they have county police. They wear the same uniform across board. There's no difference between the uniform of the police in Minnesota, in the Park, for example, and St. Paul, this kind of thing in the US. They wear the same uniform, the same mode of car. But the point that the operation, they have a streamlined operation. They don't cross the border to do that, so we can identify that these police on their badge, you can see this one is from Park, this one from St. Paul, kind of thing. Police and there and there. So it's the same thing we can hear operating it. The limit of state police, when the federal FBI, for example, federal Bureau of Investigation, will step in, and the rest, there has to be a layer of responsibility for each police force, federal, states, and county or what you call local government here, police. and there should be a restriction that in the law that forbid the governors from using it to achieve their personal objective. And there's law that if these laws are put in place, people can take the governors to court, for example, and challenge them in court. You know? So these are the system that in democracy must tighten the nose, must establish a system that works seamlessly without personal achieving achieve personal aggrandizement or personal manipulating it. Once you have a system that works, judiciary that works, you know, it's look at what happened at US today. Living left for Donald Trump would have run riot on the system. But because they have a system that works, they have been put in check so far by the judiciary, by the system. And we need to adopt such system that will guide us, that will lead us, that make us. That's a sign of civilization, really. So I don't have any worry about that.
Well, President Bola Ahmed TINUBU claims that his reforms have restored Nigeria's global respect. It says that the bleeding has stopped, the patient is alive, noting that reforms like subsidy removal and FX unification have stabilized Nigeria's global image. Now, what do you think about this statement? Is it just a symbolic rhetoric?
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you are asked to write your own report in your office, what will you write? You write a good report about yourself, about your performance, about your outlook and the rest. So TINUBU is one writing his own report. I don't expect to say, no, there is more corruption in Nigeria, there's hunger in Nigeria and the rest. He's just he's a politician number one and just selling his own image, just polishing his own image. It is you and I, but you know the reality. It's you and I that will say, no, this is reality or institution. So we don't expect him to say something and say no corruption. But we are seeing corruption, no doubt about it. No manipulation. We are seeing manipulation. We are seeing hunger in the country. We are seeing mismanagement of the system. You know, so it's obvious to us. So when somebody is writing his report and make it look like El Dorado, that is the people that are concerned that will say, no, this is not where we're experiencing this space. These are the reality on the ground. So it is left for the opposition, for example, to counter him and say, this is the reality on the ground and tell the world that what is obtainable in this way. But you don't expect Bola Tinubu to tell you that, oh, there's hunger in Nigeria, that the reform is destroying. No. If he's doing that, then it's not the politician, it's not woman. Yeah, so I don't know why people are complaining about that. He's saying it, say your own. You that understand you are in the system, you understand the reality, then put the picture, the contrary picture to the picture. Let the world compare and contrast. And that's what it is.
Yeah, but observers like World Trade Organizations, Okojo, they've applauded Nigerians' reform trajectory, citing restored economic stability. Also, the Finance Minister Wale Edu and CBN Governor Cardoso, they've also asserted that these reforms have restored investors' confidence and stabilized the FX market. But let's talk about other World Trade Organizations, Ngozi. What do you think about such from him, compared to what you've said earlier?
Let me say, I wrote an article a week ago or so, talk about the gaping hole in the economic reform agenda for the president. There's a consensus that the removal of fuel subsidy is the right policy to be enacted. The regulation of the foreign exchange market is the right policy. Is the right antidote to corruption, to eliminate corruption in the system for manipulation and the rest. It's a consensus that no, they are the right policy. There's no doubt about some of those policies that are the right step to be taken to stabilize the economy. And to the large extent, for example, the removal of subsidy, you can see that in the last 2 years, you are not experiencing queue in the fuel stations. We don't experience bad fuel in the fuel station. So the policy had their own advantage, had their own impact on the economy. But the truth, the flaws of those policies that people are, as a result of this impact of the policy, people are hungry. People lost their job. People are living standards gradually, shut up. People, the value for money has gone down. For example, what you can buy for 1,000 before, you can't get it for 10,000 today. So that's the reality. It's skyrocketing in inflation, and that's need to replace it to make the picture look good. It's not that people are suffering because and behind the scene, implementers of the policies are not being sincere. For example, we're asking people to tighten their belt. You yourself are not tightening your belt. You are asking people to fail to bear with them, but you are not bearing with system. There is extravagance in government. You see their lifestyle, the lavish lifestyle the people in government are living. So these are the contradictions, no doubt about it. The policy itself are nothing wrong with the policy itself, but the people who are implementing it, they are not sincere enough. They are not sincere to the people, to the policy. We are seeing the way they are squandering the money. We are seeing people they encourage your government to be present to oversee. You are seeing recently. I'm sure the president more than over 100 people are following to that place, to that place, spending the money that is not available. Spending money we are trying to consult to channel to the purpose to fix the infrastructure, to fix the case in the system. We are seeing for example, the Lagos Calabar coastal road. We are seeing the way the contract was awarded. The contract does not pass through the due diligence. For example, no procurement system, no open bids. We are seeing a 1 kilometer road be done for 3 billion, and compared to other places where similar projects are done, these are the lacuna in the policy. These are the things that make people angry about the government. The policy were good. Me, I'm in total support of the policy, but the people implementing it, are they bearing the brunt? They are living the difference ideas. They are not showing the examples. And that's the lacuna in it. That's the really big contradictions in the outlooks of the government.
All right. The president, he also stated that the federal government had stopped borrowing locally. Now, how credible is the government's claim of no local borrowing?
That statement was not totally correct. When government say they are not borrowing, they are still issuing bonds, they are still issuing treasury bills, and these are the instruments government used to borrow from the system. Government is not borrowing directly from commercial bank per se to fund their projects, but they are using instruments of liquidity move-up like bonds, they are like saving bonds, like sukuk bonds, like treasury bills. These are instruments government used to borrow money. What the president may by saying that probably they are not printing money, which are miss as they used to do that late Buhari system. But they are still borrowing from the system. They are still borrowing, is still going on. Recently, the National Assembly approved $21 billion borrowing program for the government. Are they telling you they are not fulfilling the local domestic borrowing aspect of it? No. So that statement is not completely correct. You say initially. So the probably is part of the writing your own report and making it look good.
All right. The NLC has said to the federal government that they should emulate states that pay above 70,000 naira minimum wage. What do you think about this statement from NLC?
I'll agree with them totally. 70,000 naira cannot. Even students in school, one person in school. I know how much I'm paying my daughter in school for just feeding alone for a month. That is not enough for one person. Not talk of a person with family. What does it show? Is that what they are paying themselves as a people officer? Are they doing more than those people are doing in their workplace? So there should be a review. Now they have more money from removal of foreign subsidy. They have more money from gains from foreign exchange differences. So they should. Because these people are not working. If people are working, you are paying them peanuts. Then you receive the work of a monkey. What you see that the system will always pay for it. If you are paying your staff 70,000 and it's living fine, it's not complaining, definitely the system is paying for it. They will prefer the system, they will steal from the money, the treasury, they will do things, they will use your time to do their own personal work and the rest. So in order to ensure that we have efficiency in the system, we eliminate corruption, government to ensure that the workers are given living wage, the money that can call a truly take-home pay, that can meet their needs to last year's extent. So I agree with NSC on that position.
But do you think all the states can afford to pay over 70,000 naira minimum wage, just like Ebonyi State and Imo State who are paying over 80,000 naira, minimum wage.
Yeah, even before their education, physical education expanded, increase, they can pay. What we find is that there are so much wastage in the system. You see one councillor appointing 150 SA, see one official is appointing another kind of thing. The wastage until we are able to cost the wasteful spending at the government level. We cannot actually measure our physical strength in this country. What is plugged in the cost of governance itself is so high. What we are spending on obstacles, what we are spending on traveling, what we are spending on allowance, what we are spending on accommodation, what we are spending on entertainment, what we are spending on one government official alone. What you are paying one government official alone in terms of apart from salary where they are talking that is very small, allowance and the rest, is enough to pay more than 100 civil servants. So until we are able to reduce those wastage in the system, we cannot be able to appreciate the volume of money that are coming to state today. So I don't think any state, the recess of it, are saying they cannot pay that money. They can pay much more. So I think they should pay more so that you can have efficient system, can have a compact system that delivers efficient, effective service to the people. And that's why you can even grow the revenue and grow the system. Otherwise, you see people stealing, manipulating the system to please themselves, so to make ends meet for them.
Mm-hmm. But how reasonable is a request, to double the minimum wage from 70,000 naira to 150,000 naira?
They may not double to 140,000 or that kind of thing, but 70,000 definitely is too small to sustain any staff, no matter the level they are. It's too small for a family man to pay for house rent, to pay for transportation, feeding, and the rest. It's too small. It may not be up to 100, 1,000, but there should be increase. There should be a review truly in it to accommodate the present economic hardship in the country. Transport system, how much it costs to and fro from work for a person, how much money for the family, what to cater for the wife, cater for the children. So I'm not sure. It's suitable.
All right, Mr. Mayowa, let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. this morning. And the first person speaking is Mrs. Mrs. says, during courtship, we visited almost all the eateries in town. Now that we are married, you abandoned me. I should have known at that time it was a bait. And Mr. replied, well, if you call it a bait, you are right. After all, when couples get married, they are hooked.
Priorities are changed. What to recognize is changing in priorities, in situation, in circumstances. Then you are seeing lover beds. You can visit any other area. My wife should tell me that same thing too. But the issue is that the priorities are changed. There are responsibilities to there are school that are now school fees to be paid. There are other responsibilities to be paid, that to focus on. And when you're looking at the resources, the allocation of resources is better. They have future to build, things to do. They can't remain tenant forever. They have to build their own home. They have to buy cars. They have to do a lot of things are changed to the extent that I see advice that once in a while take them out,
Yeah.
enjoy the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't expect to be the way it used to be. When you are dating.
Some people cancel eating out, entirely. So I think once in a while the couples can, eat out.
No. For me, I support it. I take my family out once in a while, just to have fun. But you don't expect that, okay, each night, oh, let's go out to this and let's go out to that. And the money can spend for a week. You spend it in the city. Then you affect the resources of the family. So, but I'm saying occasionally, yes, birthday celebration of them, take them out, Christmas, holidays, those kind of, those are normal for every family. Or you don't say, no, this time let's go and eat out, and tomorrow let's go and eat out. You spend the money to take care of the family for a whole month, and it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, and have a lovely day.
This is where we have to draw the curtain today. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Do what to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardngr.com. Have a lovely